Hey everybody, welcome back to GWN. I am your host, Knock. We're going to get some defensive replay started here in just a minute. I want to talk a little bit today about defensive capabilities and your base design. This is the last two, or are the last two, pillars of the four pillars of Clash. Talking about defensive capabilities. Like its cousin in the offensive category, your defensive capabilities are what your defense is capable of doing in the game. It's represented by how many defensive structures you've got, their level of development. The long made short, the more you got, the better you do. If they're stronger, the better you do. Of course, if they're weak or if you don't have as many, then, well, your defensive game is going to be weaker and, well, you're not going to do as well. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward, right? If you pay attention to these replays that I've got running in the background, one of the things that you'll notice is the level of the defenses and the walls and the base design. Lower walls don't work so well. If you're using them to redirect your troops, that's great. But the moment you get involved in a ground attack with, say, barbarians and bombers, all the padding you put together with your walls goes away because the bombers break down the walls and the barbs just rush in. This is an example of base design, but it's also an example of how your defensive structures and their level can be an issue. Things that don't stop your troops from just barreling right through. A lower level defense, for example, or a lower level wall is part of your defensive capabilities. When you start to think about it, the first time you get a key defense, which is one of the big defenses, is BH3. And really, ground game reigns supreme in the first four Builder Hall levels. It isn't until later on in Builder Hall 4 when you get your beta minions and baby dragons up to a reasonable level that you start to really see the air attackers take off. And that's why your key defenses, starting at Builder Hall 3, are really more focused toward the ground. You get your firecrackers, but the Crusher is the big deal. Firecrackers will prevent your early level air attacks from really having much effect. And then when you get your air bombs at level 4, Builders Hall 4, that pretty well eliminates any low level air attacks from ever happening. It isn't until they get to level 8 for the troops at Builder Hall 4 that they really become useful and can start to begin to make an impact on the game. So when you look at your key defenses, what do they start off with? Well, obviously, Crushers. Builder Hall 3, very important. Builder Hall 4, air bombs. Very important to the overall attack, especially later on in the game. Builder Hall 5, you get a second firecracker, and you get your multi-mortar. Multi-mortars, when they've been upgraded, can literally take down ground troops in a single volley. So, very important defense there. Builder Hall 6, you get the big bump when you get the Roaster. Roaster splash damage, does tons and tons and tons of damage. And having that along with a strong multi-mortar will definitely put a dent in the ground game. And that's why, really, you want to get those two particular defenses upgraded very quickly, very early. Builder Hall 7, we get the Giant Cannon, and, of course, that second hidden Tesla. And the Giant Cannon's especially powerful against the Battle Machine. And then in Builder Hall 8, we're going to get the Mega Tesla. We're still waiting for that, obviously, at this point in time, but it looks like it's going to be pretty fun. There's rumors that we'll get an additional air bomb. We might get something like an additional cannon or guard post, which were promised originally in Builder Hall 7. It's kind of up in the air what all extra we're going to get because, there's been no sneak peeks and we don't know what's actually there. We're just kind of relying on mining data. But we look to Builder Hall 8 to really give us a boost in our defensive capabilities. It's also important when you're playing to keep a close eye on the meta, how the game is being played at any given time. I've got upgrade guides out for each and every Builder Hall level that I release at some point after the level's available, and you can find them on blog.clashmaniac.com. It's the path that I follow when I do my upgrades, and it covers, the troops as well as the defenses. But it's really a living thing. I change it as the meta changes. You know, a fellow former once told me you can't chase the meta, but for me, that's kind of the fun of it. You know, when I originally came out with my Builder Hall 7 upgrade guide, I had put, was it the multi-mortar or the roaster? I put one or the other a little bit further down in the upgrade path and did what I usually do of upgrading the firecrackers first. But I realized right away, oh, no. We need to get that multi-mortar and that roaster done first thing. Whether you do the roaster first or the multi-mortar doesn't matter. As long as they're in the first 2 slots, you get them upgraded right away because it's absolutely huge in the course of defending at Builder Hall 7. So when I started to play it and I started to get hit by some level 14 archers or level 14 barbarians, I realized very quickly how important they were. Your level 7 multi-mortar can take down a sneaky archer in a single volley, just like the level 6 one can do for the level 12 troops. A level 7 roaster can take down a barbarian in a single volley, and it's a splash damage. Both of these are splash damage. So if there are multiple of either or, they're going to do their damage. So you can see very quickly how these defenses can impact the ground attack and impact it severely. Of course, afterwards, I went ahead and did my firecrackers like I always do to be able to deal with the air attack a little more effectively. It wasn't quite strong yet at the beginning of Builder Hall 7. I think air is just now starting to come into its own about, about a month in, I think, give or take, because the time to develop air was much longer than it was to develop barbarians and archers. So it makes sense that would be the case. The other thing, of course, are the walls. Level 4 walls require 2 hits from the level 14 bomber, but he can take out a level 3 wall in a single hit. These are all part of your defensive capabilities. And this is where I focus a lot of my attention and time on, especially when I'm telling other guys, other players, how they might want to consider improving their game. Everybody thinks that, Rage Barbarians are overpowered and we need to nerf them. But the reality is, it's just our defense, our capabilities, our defensive capabilities really need to catch up with where the offense is at today. And if you can do that, if you can get your defensive capabilities further along, get them caught up with what you're doing or what your opponents are doing offensively, you'll see the benefits. I mean, you could go all the way to Builder Hall 7 with, say, I don't know, level 1 walls and even get into the 3,000 trophy range with them, but that's all the further you're going to go. And that's why, you need to upgrade your walls. You can go all the way with level 1 or 2 defenses and maybe get up to 3,000. But again, you're just going to get steamrolled once you get up there. That's why you've got to upgrade those defenses to 5 and 6 and 7. And right now, a lot of players, that's where they're weakest. They're weakest in the defensive capabilities. I mentioned the walls. I've been asked before, what do I think is the right place to upgrade walls? At Builder Hall 3, I max. That includes the walls. At Builder Hall 4 and 5, I keep those walls at level 3, and I get them upgraded all the way. At Builder Hall 6, that's when I start to upgrade the walls to level 4. And by the time I get to Builder Hall 7, all the walls either will be 4 or will be on their way to being upgraded. That's kind of the way I look at it. I think that really you need Builder Hall 8 and beyond. You're going to need level 5 walls. There's kind of a debate about that. Some people think you do, some people think you don't. But I think that it's necessary. It's still secondary to the other defenses that you need to upgrade. I mean, like I said, definitely upgrade your roaster, upgrade your multi-mortar, upgrade your firecrackers, upgrade the crushers. These are the important things to upgrade, in my opinion, the things that need to be upgraded right away. Now, base design. Base design is the 4th pillar. And, I've already done a video on base building 101. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but you need to make sure that your base design is structured in a way that it works with the meta. If ground attacks are popular, maybe you set your mines and mega mines to ground. If you're seeing a lot of stuff with the bomber, do like this base right here. We got the walls around the outside to take that first throw and basically throw it away. You don't want the bomber hitting your heaviest walls with his first throw because you're just going to break through. These are the kinds of things that you need to think about. Centralizing your key defenses, putting the crushers on opposite sides of the builder hall. All very common things that we do in any one of these. You can go back and catch that other video on Builder Base 101 if you like. Hopefully that'll help you out with some of the particulars. On that note, I'm out of here, and I will catch y'all later. I hope you found this video useful, and thank you for sticking around to the end. Pound subscribe, pound like, and I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks again, and keep on clashing.